Top of the morning, good afternoon, and hello to all the world. Happy Friday to you. There's nothing better than a cup of tea on a Friday. Maybe a cookie or a biscuit with a cup of tea would be nice. Actually, maybe 2 or 3 cookies with a nice cup of tea would be even better. But we're not here for that. We're here for the Friday rant. All right. I'd like you to say hello to Mr. Snuggles. Mr. Snuggles, say hello. That's my pet. Thought he wanted to hang out today, so I said it'd be all right. Now, if this welcome to the Friday rant, the Friday inspirational rant. If this rant is to be of any service to you, if this rant is to be of any help to you, then there's certain things that we got to talk about. There's certain things that when you start to get a sense of them, when you start to get a flavor for them, they can radically change your life in many, many ways. I'm going to share a few stories in that way today. So for this conversation to be helpful, we got to talk about reality and not facing reality. I used to do that. I don't encourage people to face reality. I encourage people to create their reality. Now, you may have heard or you may not have heard, you create your own reality. And, you can read that on the back of a tea box or on the back of a toilet seat, depending on where you live. And it doesn't really mean anything. It's kind of like, it's kind of like the story you've heard of the friend who's writing the book. And every time he tells you about it, it's just like, old news, It's like Facebook. It's just old news. And so, but there's a lot of truth in that. And I want to talk to you today a little bit about how thought creates your reality. Now, I've studied 3 principles work for about 10 years. I've studied law of attraction work, Abraham Hicks, for over 20 years. I've been studying Tony Robbins, NLP, for 20 years. I've studied neurolinguistic. I've studied meta science. I've studied cognitive behavior. I've studied a lot of different things over the years. And I've had many coaches teach me different things in those last 20 years. And in the 3 principles world, they tell you that thought creates everything, that you're walking around in a universe of thought. There's nothing going on here except thought. Thought creates everything and then says, oh, I didn't do that. And your body is always responding to the content of your thought or your thinking. Now, how does it work? It's really, really simple. So simple. You'd be like, really, Dermot? Yes, really. We live in a universe of thought. Let's just pretend that's true for a moment. And the whole alien invasion thing is not. Although there may be aliens out there. I'd love to meet one. We live in a universe of thought. Now, what happens is you're walking around your daily life, your day-to-day stuff, and a thought comes into your head. Now, one of the things that you can do with thought is you can think. You can think about the thought. You can't think your thoughts, but you can think about a thought that's popped into your head. Think about that big brain. Yes, that thing in the middle of your skull, weighing, I think it's 5 pounds or something. Oh. And it's a radio receiver. And the signal is coming from, let's just call it the universe. You can call it whatever you want. Barbara, God, Yahweh, Isha, the big Buddha, the big cheese, the big cabbage, the head honcho. You get the idea. And that signal is coming from the big radio station in the sky. And our brains are a receiver. We receive thought. And so you receive a thought. Oh, I really do like that. Or, oh, what about that person? Or, oh, that's a great idea. And then you start thinking about thought. And as you think about the thought, it creates a feeling. And that feeling you make meaning about. So I'll give you an example. Today, sitting down, getting ready for the Friday rant, sitting here, drinking my tea, just relaxing. talking to the dog. And a thought came in my head. Oh, I hope this goes well. And the thought came into, I wasn't thinking it, the thought came into my head. And then I started thinking, well, God, maybe I should prep some notes, or maybe I should warm up my tea before, or maybe I should actually prep about 5 little bullet points. But this is the Friday rant. I don't want it to be bullet points. I want it to be just free flowing. And I started feeling a little bit anxious about the Friday rant. And that's a great example of thought comes in, we think about it, I think about it, the thought, I feel my thinking, and I make meaning about whatever I'm thinking. Now, your body responds to the content of your thinking. You are walking around all day long in your body thinking about your life. Pretty amazing when you think about it. Your life is an expression of all your thinking. If you think about it, pun intended, you're walking around all day long and you're thinking about this, you're thinking about that, you're thinking about this, you're thinking about that, you're thinking about this, you're thinking about that. And you're feeling all that thinking. And then you make meaning about it. You say, oh, my life is terrible. My life is great. My life is horrible. My life is wonderful. I'm confident. No, I'm not. I love myself. I hate myself. I'm scared. No, I'm happy. And we constantly live out of the content of our thinking. Now, that's 3 principles. Now, the law of attraction says that that which is likened onto itself is drawn. In other words, in the Bible, it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Or if you're in Ireland, it's simply, that fella is nuts, which means he's got nutty thinking. Now, in a universe of thought, or a universe of vibration, where everything is vibration, everything. Science tells us, and this is not whoop-de-doo stuff, science tells us that everything in the universe, this cup, this timer, this hat, the dog, everything is vibrating at a certain frequency. The dog is vibrating at a certain frequency. The chair is vibrating at a certain frequency. Everything in the universe, in this universe of thought, is vibrating at a certain frequency. Now, in order for us to create what we want, in order for us to have a thought, hey, I'd like to have a new car. That belief, that thought is vibrating at a certain frequency. Now, Alexa is talking to me. She's telling me to relax. And I'm trying to do the Friday rant here, Alexa. Give it a break. Okay. So you have a thought that, you want to create a new car. And so what you do is, so you have the thought, I want a new car. Now, that's the desired outcome. I want a new car. And so that's vibrating. Let's say that desire is vibrating here. And the belief is, I'll never have a new car. And that belief is vibrating here. Now, in order for the new car to happen, for the 2 vibrations to meet, think about it like a bridge. If you're walking across the bridge and somebody's walking across the bridge, you're going to meet. You have to meet. But if you're walking across the upper bridge and there's a person that you want to meet is walking on the lower part of the bridge, you're never going to meet. And so it is with a desire and a belief. You have a desire, and then you have a belief that says, I can't have that. Now, you have to find ways to align those 2 beliefs so that they meet, the desire and the belief. Why is that so? Because we live in a universe of thought. We live in a universe of vibration. Thought is vibration. Science tells us that everything is resonating at a certain frequency. Everything, every thought, which if you look around your room, everything in your home was a thought. The microphone, this, the cup, the tea, the guitar, everything was a thought in the mind of someone. And they started playing with some ideas. They started exploring. They started creating stuff. they came up to alignment with the frequency of the completed project or the completed product, boom, and it gets manifested. Now, there is such power because we live in a world that says do, 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 do. There's a lot of do in the world. And yet nobody talks to us about emotional vibration. Nobody talks about, you know what? Emotion precedes action. Emotion precedes some kind of a manifestation. That's why I tell the coaches that I work with, I tell them all the time to look for inspired action. Get inspired about something and then act. Inspired, inspirate, spirit from within, that calling from within, that inner being from within. But most of us live our lives on, I've got to set goals. Okay, I got to get goals, and I got to do this goal, and I got to do that. I just got to work. And we constantly act on action, act on, working and doing things. Instead of really starting to play with the idea that if this is a universe of thought, and I believe it is, that then thought creates our reality. Another way to think about it is your personal thinking, which is personality, personal thinking. Your personality, your personal thinking creates your world. Have you ever gotten up in the morning and you get out the wrong side of the bed and everything just goes down the hill from there? The toothpaste, there's nothing left of it. You go to grab the toilet roll. Oh, it's empty. You get in your car. It won't start. You ever have a day like that? Now, I want you to play with something. In the morning, 30 minutes in the morning, somnambulistic state, and 30 minutes before you go to sleep at night, start playing with, let's play with something simple. Hey, I want to see a blue balloon. Take something that you have no thinking about, that there's no, you have a belief that you're going to see it. Whatever it might be, something simple that you don't have a lot of thinking about. And play with that visualization in the morning of just looking and feeling, oh, that's what it feels like. I see the blue balloon and what it feels like. And just take a moment to feel gratitude for feeling that balloon and seeing it. And see what happens in your day. I was living in LA, and I was living in Playa del Rey, not a very nice area. And I decided I'd love to live somewhere better, and I'd love to live housing free rent. And every morning I started visualizing just a house by the sea. And every morning I'd look and I'd feel the wind on my face, and I'd hear the ocean. And I did this for about 2 weeks. And I got the hit one night to go to a party that a friend of mine was throwing in LA. And I went to the party and I met a girl there, and I thought, oh my God, this is great. I've been single. Good to meet a girl. We went out on a date. I thought it was a date. It wasn't. News to me. And at the end of the day, she said, look, Dermot, I really like you. She says, but I'm not up for dating right now. I said, wonderful. So we can hang out and be mates. And we met the following week. And she said to me, Dermot, she said, I take care of this huge mansion in Malibu by the beach. And I have my own guest house. And it's beautiful. The people are there only 2 weeks a year. And I'm giving it up because I don't want to do it anymore. I'm a little scared to be out there in Malibu by the beach on myself. And I've gotten to know you. I think you're a really nice guy. And I think you'd be perfect for it. Seem like you'd be good on your own. You like the solitude. I said, I really do. 2 weeks later, I met the people. They said, you're the guy we've been looking for. And a month later, I was living in Malibu, rent-free, lived there for 3 years. So we live in a universe of thought, and thought creates our reality. And we can use thought to create things. All we have to do is, when you have a desire, again, as it says, ask and it's given. When you ask for something, it's given vibrationally. In other words, it's already created. through thought. We live in a universe of thought. Once you have a thought, it gets created. But then you think, well, where is it, Dermot? Where's my money? Where's my home by the beach? Where's my house in Malibu? It's vibrational universe, which means the house in Malibu is here and you're here. And you've got to start raising your vibration. How do you raise your vibration? It's really simple. You start thinking thoughts that are feeling good. You start moving through your day and you start looking for thoughts that feel better than the ones you had a few minutes ago. You take some time in the morning, 30 minutes after you wake up, 30 minutes before bed. You don't have to do 30 minutes. It's the 30-minute window when your subconscious is starting to relax. And just start to play with the visualization. Start to play with ideas for, hey, I'd like to have some more money. And put your hand on your heart, scientifically proven to raise your vibration. And just play with the ideas of the appreciation of already having that. And just play with that. Because if it's true, and I believe it is, that everything is on a vibrational level, the house, the car, the new money, the clients, the products, the service, whatever it is you want to create. And as you raise your vibration to meet it, then it must happen. It's law. It's like gravity. It must work. But most of us are running around with our to-do lists. I've got to do this, and I've got to do that, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I've got a lot to do. Do. I'm going to encourage you to start to play with creating, turning thoughts into things. It's really, really powerful. I'm going to be doing a whole workshop on this in April. I'm going to do a whole week of how to turn thoughts into things, the art of allowing. So look out for that. It's coming soon. All right, my dear friends, my listeners, that will have to do it for this Friday rant. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful. I hope you get something from it. And always helpful to listen to these things a couple of times so that you really start to get an idea of some of the ideas that have been shared today. And until then, think big, have fun, stay curious. And that, my dear friends, is no blarney. Cheers.